Well, maybe we should talk a little bit about dogs now.
Okay.
And what are some of those reasons for dogs? We specifically here at our shelter.
I think one of the biggest things that I hear is too active. Too active.
Yeah.
I cannot tire my dog out. And with too active usually comes the chewing, the jumping, the destruction in the garbage can.
It's all behavioral related.
Not able to settle.
Sure.
And I think too, when people are getting that puppy, I know that I work 8 to 10 hours a day, and when I go home, I'm tired. And I'd like to sit down. And waiting at the door are my 2 dogs going, walk, going for a walk, play ball. And so I have to have that commitment to them that whether I want to do this or not, a good dog is a tired dog.
Yeah.
And so I got to take those 10 minutes, and sometimes it's 20 minutes, but my dogs are older now, so a lot of times I can get away with 10 minutes of throwing the ball and really hard running with my dogs around the yard, really interacting with them and getting them tired out, giving them that rawhide chew, making sure that they have a Kong toy when I leave, something to keep them busy, something to take the edge off. And I think a lot of times people forget that you can't expect a puppy or a young adult dog to be quiet all the time.
Right.
They need to get that exercise released.
I will tell you, Cheryl, that as far as like the number of dogs that are surrendered here, a majority of the dogs are anywhere from that 3 months up until about 1.5 years. This is when people are really having troubles coping with the energy level of that dog. And it is very difficult, and you hit the nail right on the head, is people have to understand that they have to invest some time into exercising that dog. And if they don't, that's when obviously they're going to have some behavioral problems. So, there's all kinds of cool things out there, but again, I think it's a commitment thing. I mean, I think you have to say, you know what, I got to set my alarm a half hour earlier so I can walk my dog before I go to work. I have to make some allowances for when I get home from work, just like you do, and just like I do too. I'm very exhausted. We both work very long hours, but the truth of the matter is that getting my dogs out and walking them after I'm done with work is very important for them.
Right. And we do that with the dogs here at the shelter.
That's
it's
right.
a great stress buster. They need to be walked. They need to be out there. And I think that's another thing. Before somebody gets a dog, call the Humane Society or go to your library, go online and read about the kind of dog you're thinking about adopting. There are dogs that have different energy levels. And truth of the matter is, puppy is a puppy. They have lots of energy. And some of them lose that energy,
a little bit quicker.
A little quicker than others. But before you get the dog, find out what are the tools that you need. It's always easier to buy you got to buy the tools before you build the house.
Right.
So let's get the tools in place before we get the dog, and hopefully we won't be having
But
these
obviously,
issues.
in this particular case, because this is what our show is about today, is that pet retention, is that, we have a lot of resources here. Obviously, we've got a list of training opportunities for people. It is well worth the investment of time for people to actually take their dog to a training class. So we give this list out to people who are possibly interested in doing something like that. The other thing is if they have very specific problems, for instance, like with separation anxiety. This is a book that we sell here at the shelter, and we have several of these. This is separation anxiety. We have some on house training. The Cautious Canine about fear issues, dogs that are extremely shy.
Fearful.
Leader of the Pack, which is, we love this book. This is like...
Everybody should have
this, yes. Everybody should have that. And then, of course, help for dogs that are leash reactive. So there's all kinds of resources. Your dog is walking poorly on a leash.
One arm is longer than the other because your dog's been dragging you down the street. We have 2 things that we can help. We have the head halter, which works on the same premise as the halter that you use on a horse. If you control the head, you can control the animal. And then we have the Easy Walk harness, where the harness comes across the chest and it buckles on the chest.
Right.
So here again, if the dog goes forward, it's going to pull him backwards, or it's going to
You
turn
have-
him.
you
It's
have
gonna
control.
turn him,
It's a
and you have more
self-control.
control.
Self-control.
And so there are ways to get that control and things that we can help you work with. But again, we can't help you if you don't call us.
That's right.
We don't know that you're having a problem, so you need to contact us as soon as possible.
Allergies is another thing. You know, there's pet wipes out there. You know, vacuum frequently, shut your door to the bedroom. Those are all like resources, things that we can
Right,
tell
little
people.
tips that we can give people.
Sure,
that-
absolutely.
That they
You
don't
bet.
have to, and these are tried and true. These aren't things that we just make up.
Mm-hmm.
These are things that we have learned from other animal behaviorists, from seminars that
Sure.
we've attended, other trainers, from trainers in the area.
We've been doing
we
this for
truly-
20 years.
Yeah.
And we counsel people every single day when they adopt from us, and we work with what we call basic animal behavior. We
Right.
work with the natural behavior of the animal, and if people would just use us as that resource,
Right. I think there's a lot of people that
we
think
can help them.
they don't realize that we do. When you mentioned the behavior classes, one of the things that I really think is so wonderful about behavior classes, especially when you have a puppy, it puts you in with other people who have a puppy, and you can kind of share horror stories. You know, you're not alone in this. You're not the first person who had a puppy or had a dog that has bad behavior. And so many, and we see it here all the time. We get in dogs that are 6 months to 2 years old that have had no formal training, and we're just amazed how quickly we can teach those dogs sit and stay and walking nice on a leash. So every dog is trainable, but sometimes we just need to get those tools
We
to
just
the
got to
owner.
have the tools. You just got to have the tools. You're absolutely right, Cheryl.
So I think one of the things that we would like to do is we'd like to show the people what we mean by a dog that has bad manners, dog that has a wonderful, wonderful temperament, but has bad manners.
Yeah,
And,
you know.
and an activity level that could drive any sane person crazy. No, not really. But it's something that has to be addressed,
Sure.
is that energy
Sure.
level.
Sure.
So let's do that.
Let's meet Digger.
Okay.
All right.